In the grand arc of human knowledge, few symbols stand as proudly as the Encyclopedia, a testament to humanity's relentless pursuit of understanding. For centuries, these vast compendiums of facts and wisdom served as the cornerstone of intellectual exploration, painstakingly compiled by scholars, editors, and visionaries who sought to categorize and distill the vastness of our world into neatly bound volumes. But in the modern era, where information is as fleeting as a tap on a screen, encyclopedias have faced a dramatic transformation, rising as emblems of enlightenment before succumbing to the weight of the digital revolution. So how did the encyclopedia rise to power, and what led to its decline? Let's take a deep dive right here on History of Simple Things. The origins of the encyclopedia stretch deep into antiquity, when civilizations first attempted to collect and record their accumulated knowledge. The ancient Greeks, particularly Aristotle, sought to classify and categorize the natural world, laying the groundwork for systematic learning. Later, the Roman scholar Pliny the Elder compiled Naturalis Historia, an extensive work covering subjects ranging from astronomy to medicine. As the centuries progressed, the Islamic Golden Age brought forth encyclopedic efforts like Kitab al-Shifa by Avicenna, while medieval scholars in Europe created works that preserved and expanded upon classical knowledge. These early endeavors were limited in scope and accessibility, often confined to the educated elite. Still, they set the precedent for what would one day become a global phenomenon. It was in the 18th century that the encyclopedia took a revolutionary leap forward. In France, Denis Diderot and Jean-Baptiste Laurent d'Alembert unveiled Encyclopédies, a massive undertaking that sought to compile all human knowledge and challenge the traditional authority of the church and monarchy. It became a beacon of the Enlightenment, spreading radical ideas and inspiring intellectual movements across Europe. Meanwhile, in Britain, Encyclopedia Britannica was first published in 1768, its reputation for accuracy and depth solidifying it as a trusted resource for generations. As industrialization fueled literacy and the demand for knowledge grew, encyclopedias flourished, becoming household staples in educated societies. Owning a complete set was a mark of prestige, a tangible embodiment of intellectual curiosity and a tool for self-improvement. By the 20th century, encyclopedias had reached their golden age. Multi-volume collections, meticulously researched and written by experts, graced bookshelves in homes, libraries, and schools around the world. They were authoritative, their pages filled with carefully vetted facts and insights. Companies such as Britannica and World Book built thriving businesses around these massive tomes, employing armies of scholars, editors, and salespeople. Traveling encyclopedia salesmen became a common sight, offering families the promise of a world-class education within the pages of their leather-bound collections. The encyclopedia was not merely a book. It was an institution, a gatekeeper of knowledge that offered a sense of permanence in an ever-changing world. But as the 20th century drew to a close, storm clouds loomed over the industry. The advent of digital technology signaled a shift in how information was consumed. The CD-ROM revolution of the 1980s and 90s introduced multimedia encyclopedias such as Microsoft Encarta, a digital alternative that could store vast amounts of information in a fraction of the space. The convenience of searching for terms with a few keystrokes outpaced the laborious process of flipping through heavy volumes. Encyclopedias, once prized for their depth and accuracy, now faced a growing challenge: adaptability. The printed word, no matter how carefully curated, was struggling to keep pace with an audience that demanded instant access to knowledge. Then, in the early 2000s, a disruption unlike any before reshaped the very foundations of how knowledge was stored and shared. The internet became the ultimate library, and at the forefront of this transformation stood Wikipedia. Launched in 2001, this online encyclopedia defied all conventions. It was free, constantly updated, and most shockingly, written and edited by volunteers. Traditional encyclopedias prided themselves on their rigorous editorial oversight, but Wikipedia embraced the wisdom of the crowd. Though critics initially dismissed it as unreliable, its open-source model allowed for unprecedented speed and scale. Within a few years, it had amassed more information than even the most comprehensive printed encyclopedias, making its static predecessors appear outdated and sluggish. The decline of printed encyclopedias was swift and merciless. Encyclopedia Britannica, the most prestigious name in the business, ceased its print edition in 2012 after 244 years of publication. The once mighty volumes, symbols of scholarly authority, had been rendered obsolete in the face of limitless digital resources. The economic reality was unavoidable. Producing and distributing physical encyclopedias was costly, while the internet provided an endlessly expanding pool of knowledge at virtually no cost to the consumer. Schools and libraries, once loyal customers, shifted their focus to online databases and search engines. What had taken centuries to build had been undone in a matter of decades. Yet, while traditional encyclopedias have faded from everyday use, their legacy endures. The principles they championed, carefully sourced information, expert contributions, and the pursuit of knowledge, still influence how information is curated in the digital age. Britannica, though no longer printing physical editions, has adapted by transitioning into an online educational platform, offering fact-checked content in a world where misinformation spreads easily. Meanwhile, Wikipedia, despite its initial skepticism, has grown into one of the most visited websites on the planet, proving that the hunger for knowledge remains insatiable. But the question lingers. In an era where information is abundant, what becomes of the gatekeepers of knowledge? As we reflect on the rise and fall of encyclopedias, we recognize that their story is not one of disappearance, but transformation. The bound volumes that once symbolized knowledge have given way to an evolving landscape where information is fluid, ever-changing, and constantly challenged. The responsibility once held by a few elite editors is now shared by the collective efforts of millions. But with this shift comes a new challenge: ensuring the integrity and accuracy of what we learn. The encyclopedia may no longer sit upon our bookshelves, but its mission remains unchanged: to illuminate, to educate, and to preserve the vast and intricate tapestry of human understanding. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.